my name is Jill Kidlik. I am a medically retired Hartford police officer after being stabbed repeatedly in my throat on May 17th of 2018. That week, I was issued a protective order by the courts, keeping my attacker from having contact with me in any way, shape, or form, as all victims have a right to. Years later, due to COVID and also me being pregnant, our trial was pushed off. I continued to have this protective order until, unbeknownst to me, it was erased from the system the moment that her not guilty by reason of insanity was accepted, and she was therefore committed to the PSRB and not convicted of a crime. And I therefore do not qualify as a victim of a crime in the state of Connecticut, even though I have paralysis of the right side of my throat. And I had to medically retire. My whole life was taken from me because I tried to help somebody one day. That was my job, a job that I loved, still love, and have grief over not being able to go do, because I chose to stay and help her. And she chased me down the hallway, tackled me from behind, and two maintenance men witnessed her take a purple Cuisinart butcher knife and thrust it into my throat, splitting my trachea in half. And I live with that every day because my whole life has been changed physically, emotionally, mentally. I am here today to say I deserve a protective order. Others will say that this is a double jeopardy, that this is a crime against mental health. You have to be found guilty of a crime by a judge in order to have a not guilty by reason of insanity. Those words seem to be very confusing to people, as it should be guilty but insane. That's a fight for another day. They are guilty. You have to be found guilty of the crime. Otherwise, if you're not guilty, you don't go to prison, you don't go to PSRB. I deserve to have a protective order. The other people that did not know that their protective orders just went away, I still have it in my purse right over here. And I didn't know until last September when a retired defense attorney suggested therapy for the equities that they meet, restorative justice that I meet with my attacker, that we as victims should meet so that we can help them with their healing. What about my healing? I'm broken, and there's nobody that cares about what happens to us as victims or survivors. I don't want that person to contact me ever. I don't want to be in a room with her. She sends me a letter. Do you know what that could do to a person? I am strong to a point. I am strong because nobody else is strong for me. I am tired. I'm tired of listening to people say that their well-being and their health and their rehabilitation is most important. What about us? There are so many people that didn't know that they were carrying around a piece of paper that means nothing. If I call 911, they don't know who I am. She can come to my door and she didn't commit a crime.
Jill, thanks for being here. Obviously a difficult story to tell. And you said that you're tired. And I think that all too often victims don't have the strength to come here. They are too tired. And their voices aren't heard as much as they should be. So I mean that wholeheartedly. Thank you. And thank you for your service. How long were you a police officer for?
I had 11 and a half years on the date of my injury.
So I know as a police officer then that you had mandatory training in things like domestic violence and protective orders. Why do we issue criminal restraining orders in this state?
To protect the victims from future unknown events.
So are you in any less danger because your attacker happened to have mental illness?
No.
So today, if your attacker were to send you a letter or give you a phone call and re-victimize you, what would she be guilty of?
Nothing.
And if she had a standing criminal restraining or a standing criminal protective order, what would she be guilty of then? She'd
be in violation of a protective order to stay no contact.
Which is a felony, right?
Correct.
All right. So right now, do you know where your attacker is now?
Yes.
Is she free?
She is at Dutcher, at which point she could have temporary leave and I would not be notified that she had access to the community.
Okay. And there's nothing legally preventing her from contacting you or really even coming to your front door and knocking on the door?
No.
Okay. So what you're looking for is, for this legislature, you're coming here and saying, I gave the people of Connecticut 11 years of service, essentially the rest of my life for them, and I'm just asking that you give me some protection so if I get re-victimized, I can take action. Is that your ask today?
That's it.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Ma'am, did you get any notice at all that the order was going to lapse? Nothing was mailed to you?
I did not know. So she was committed in August of 21, I believe.